Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing our October reading wrap up and our November TBR, 2 videos in one. So let's get into my October wrap up. First book that I got is Your Dad Will Do. I have been trying to read this book for so long. I DNF'd it twice and I was like, you know what, it's a short book. It was just too much going on for me, but it was a good book. It was cute. She finds her fiance cheating, goes to hook up with his dad, even though they've kind of like had feelings for each other for a long time. Katie Roberts, I have Neon Gods by her and I want to read it, so I feel like I have to read her other like shorter stuff before I could read Neon Gods and like that entire series. She was good. I think I gave her a 3 stars or 2.5 stars. Like, I don't know. This, like, it was a good book, but it wasn't like something for me. So, yeah. Next book is Caught Up. I was blessed to get an early edition of the book. It's probably my favorite book out of the entire series. Like, it's Caught Up, Mile High, and then Right Move. Mile High just has something, like, it just has a hold on me. I think about those characters every day. I love The Right Move. It was a 5-star too, but Caught Up, like the banter, the flirting, the chemistry, Isaiah, like Kai's brother is like my favorite person, and it was just so funny in the way that he like interacted with everyone, and he cared about his nephew, and he cared about his brother, and he cared about everybody on the team. Like, the team, already read it maybe 3 or 4 times since it came out. I usually read it to get out of reading slump, along with like the Consider Me, Play With Me, Unravel Me, like that whole series by Becca Mack. Top tier. Next book is Good Girls Go to Hell by Miss Leah K. Plam. This was actually an arc. I think this is my first ever arc, and I love her. Thank you for sending me that book. It's about Lucifer and Stella. They were like best friends as little kids, became lovers. Then she thought he died. He didn't die. And he's trying to protect her from like all of this. It is a mafia romance. It is kind of forced proximity. It's friends to lovers to enemies to lovers. Because she gets mad at him, doesn't want to talk to him, hates him, and then falls in love with him. It was a lot going on. But I was hooked from the first chapter. Because I was like, what? Like, it was so much stuff just like thrown in, and I was just so confused about what was happening, and I loved every second of it. I did give it a 4 stars, and it was just something about it that I couldn't put it down. I was like, there were so many twists and turns in that book that I was so confused like what was gonna happen next. It was just a crazy ride. I loved it though. Next we have The Fucking Wrong Number. When I tell you, I was not expecting what this book gave. Like, I was like obsessed with them, and I was like towards the end, what is wrong with you? Are you crazy? I did give it a 4 stars. It was like 4.5 stars. It was really good though, but it was just so many different things that were so confusing, and I was just like, do you love her? Or like, when I tell you this guy was crazy, like, I did not expect. He just seemed so sweet and loving, but this guy is crazy. This guy was crazy. Like, you have no idea. Like, I was not prepared for anything that happened at the second half of that book. It was so funny. But it's about Lincoln and Monroe. Lincoln is a professional hockey player, which makes this a hockey romance, and Monroe is just a girl living in the city trying to get her life together. He ends up texting the wrong number, and they kind of go back, flirting back and forth, and he's kind of a stalker, kind of trying to find out everything about her, and just like sabotages her life. But hey, he was there for her, he loved her, he wanted to take care of her, so I get it. Now we have Miss Hopeless by Elise Silver, Bo and Bailey's book. For some reason, I did not love the book like I loved the other ones. Like, Reckless will always be my top book ever. I love Theo Winter. This book gave me not the same, like, of course not the same vibes because it's different. It's like fake dating and all that stuff, but it just didn't feel, it didn't make me feel how the other ones felt. So I did give it a 4 stars, which is the lowest rating of all the other books that I have, which is fine, but I still enjoyed the book. I really loved it. The spice was there, the chemistry was there. It felt like a real relationship from the beginning, and it was just so good. Even though, like, I don't understand how she got mad at him, because he bought it before they were together. Like, he bought it to save you before he like knew anything about you and y'all got close. So I don't know why you're upset, but it's whatever. She needed her space. She needs to do what she needs to do. That's another thing that kind of like turned me off of it. Like, girl, what? He saved your job and you're mad? But okay, to each their own. But I love Hopeless. I love Elise. 3 a.m. and I'm editing right now. I look crazy, but it's Elsie Silver, not Elise. I don't know why I kept saying Elise and not Elsie, but it's Elsie Silver. Just can't wait to get the other books. I need 2 Morally Reckless and Hopeless, and the Bloom versions, not the People versions, but I can't wait to get those. Okay, so I don't know if it's me or like it's just the books that I choose, but I don't think I will ever be a thriller girly. I have tried. This next book is a thriller. This is the only thriller that I read this month, and I had like 6 or 7 books that I was planning to read. If you watch my TikTok, there were a lot of books that I was planning to read for my Thrilltober like TBR, and girl, I only read 1. I feel so bad, but it's okay. It's okay. And it is Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Brown. Byron. Sorry. I don't know why I say Brown. Byron. Yeah. This book is about a girl named Charity. She is picked as the final girl at a camp that kind of recreates horror movies, but it's all fake and all that. And at the end of the camp, she invites her friends to come help her close the camp at the end of the summer, where they have this big like final night. And people start dying, people start disappearing, a lot of stuff started happening. And I tell you, I thought I knew who it was, and I was right, partially. But there were just so many layers about what was going on in this camp and what was happening. And the ending, I don't know. The ending just was very confusing. I didn't even give it like a 4. I gave it a 4.5 stars. But like, because the ending kind of turned me off. Like, I don't understand how you go from like the thriller to like mystical, like fantasy, like magic. Like, I don't get it. I don't know, but it was a good book and I highly recommend it. So now we have King of Pride. She would have been a 5 stars for me, but I gave her a 4.5 only because the last 100 pages pissed me off. And I made a TikTok video about it because when I tell you, and I love all the men you write. I love all the men you write. I love the book. I love every single book that you've written. And I can't wait to read the other ones that you have. This series, I don't know what it's called, but I'm ready to read that series. And this, when I tell you, I love Kai and Isabella. I love Kai and Isabella with my whole heart. The last 100 pages, Isabella pissed me off. Like, she pissed me off to no end. I was so done with this book. I was doing the audiobook / the like physical book, and there was just every time, like as soon as that happened, every time she would talk, I would pause the audiobook and have to read it because it felt like hearing her voice and hearing her say all this dumb shit pissed me off even more. So I didn't finish it on my audiobook. I finished it physically, which I loved. It was still a good book, and their chemistry is off the charts. I love Kai. I love how supportive he was of Isabella in her career, and I felt bad because he had so much going on while he was busy, like still worrying about her and all that. So King of Pride, I had to read it before King of Greed came out, so I literally read it maybe like a week before King of Greed came out, and totally worth it. Now this was a good book. Madame by Miss Sarah Kate. I actually already have 2 books of hers. I have Praise and Eyes on Me. I'm waiting to get the other 3, the last 3. That was the last book. Madame was the last book of the series, and I'm kind of sad because I really like the Salacious Player series. I think my favorite one right now is Praise. I want to say it's Praise, and I gave it a 5 stars. It was so good. It's a polyamorous relationship. It's a dom sub switch relationship. It's a FFM relationship, which is female male, and it was so good. I love how they cared about her and her son. I love how the club supported her and just made and like hyped her up. The story is about Jade, Clay, and Eden. Clay and Eden were actually mentioned in the previous books. She kind of got close to him, but was scared because she had a lot going on in her life at the moment, and she didn't want to get into anything serious. So they break it off. Clay ends up going to be with Jade, and Jade kind of finds out about his past of being a sub to Eden, and she wants to be just like Eden, and she wanted, and I love how like Jade was so accepting of him and Eden, like Clay and Eden. I love how she was so confident in herself and how she felt like she could do anything. Even if she was second guessing herself, she was still like going at it. She didn't care. It was really good. It was really fun. It was a good read. I read it straight through. The second right after Praise, like, it was really good. I really loved it. Go read it. Now we have the queen, the myth, the legend, Miss Anna Huang. I am so mad at myself because I have the Barnes & Noble exclusives for the other 2 books, and I forgot, or I don't think I remembered that this is going to be a black spine and the other 2 are white spines. So that means I have to get the Barnes & Noble exclusive for this one so it matches the other ones. But it's okay, because any excuse to buy a good book, right? I love this book. I gave it a 5 stars. A lot of people said that he should have grown up more, but I feel like he did a lot, and he was like really prepared. He even almost risked his life. Like, he did not care. He wanted to prove to her that he loved her, even though he should have been doing that from the beginning. I feel like he risked his company. He gave up time. He didn't have any time, like, things that could have gone wrong, and he just didn't care. He wanted to follow her and make sure she was all right, and basically force himself back into her life. And yes, he could have groveled a little bit more. He could have done a couple more things, but I feel like he groveled great. And it is the illustrated version, so it has illustrations of scenes from the book, but I feel like instead of it being in the middle, because it's like right in the middle of the book, I feel like it should have been sprinkled throughout the entire like book, because some of these scenes don't happen till later in the book. So if I'm like in the middle of the book and I see all these scenes, I'm like, what are these images? Like, what are these depicting? Then I have to go all the way to the middle of the book to go back to the wherever I am. But it was still a good book, and I really loved it, and I'm glad I got it. They actually sent me 2, and I'm doing a giveaway on my TikTok. So if you guys want to go and try to win the illustrated version, go follow me on TikTok. These next 2 books are actually in a series. It's Distance and Detonate, both by Luna Mason. I have never read a Luna Mason book. I've never heard of a Luna Mason book. I've never seen it on TikTok or anywhere, but I was scrolling through my Instagram one day and I seen like a little snippet, like a little quote. Like, everyone sees a quote and loves the book, honestly. I don't know how, but that's just how our brains work, which is really good. I saw a quote and I started reading it. Read the first one, it was good. Read the second one, it was good. I'm currently in the middle of the third one. It is a bit heavy and has some very like trigger warning topics that you guys should really look up. But so far it's really good. It's mafia romance. One is actually both books are about like the mafia enforcers turn boxers. They all turn boxers once they meet their dream girl, even though they're enforcers, and it's a lot. The third book is about the head of the mafia and kidnaps his enemy's daughter. They fall in love. He lets her go. They fall in love again. It's okay. It's been doing me great. Last but not least is Camera Shy by Kay Cove. And when I tell you, girl, the way this book was so crazy. It starts off with Avery. It's her 30th birthday. Her boyfriend takes her out for lunch. He breaks up with her. He gives her the engagement ring, then breaks up with her, and says it's because of her and that he doesn't find her sexy. She's not chunky, but she's a curvy girl. And he breaks up with her because he feels like she doesn't try with him. But they run a successful business, and they spend almost 12 hours a day making bank, and he feels some type of way about it. You break up with her on her birthday after you, like, he doesn't propose, but he proposes, gives her the ring and all that stuff, and she's like, yes, and he's like, I can't ask you. What? So she takes his job. She takes his job in Vegas, and her next door neighbor, fine looking man, is like interested in her. He is a boudoir photography expert, and he's running his business outside of his house that has like a little shed at the bottom that has like all of his photography stuff in it, and he's trying to prove to her that she is worthy, she is beautiful, no matter what anyone says, and he's falling in love with her, but she is like second guessing everything. And I get that, but she really annoyed me because every time he would say something, she'd be like no, or she'll ignore him, or she'll run or something. And then her best friend, when you get to the end of that book and you see what her best friend did, I knew it. I knew from the jump she was sneaky. But, I was like, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she just learns. She doesn't learn. But I'm glad she showed herself. I'm glad she showed her happiness. And I'm glad she found people who actually care about her. So that book was a 5 out of fucking stars for me. It was 5 stars. I loved it. For some reason, it was a Kindle month for me. I was reading back to back to back books on my Kindle. Even if I had I only read 4 physical books. And even so, I was doing half on my Kindle while I was reading the physical books, because sometimes it's easier to take her with me or just hold something light that's not as heavy. And it's just easier to read. It's faster for me to read, so she comes in handy. So those are all the books that I read in October. And I'm very proud of myself because I only have 10 books to finish my 2023 reading challenge. My goal is 100 books. I'm at 89 right now. So I only have 10 books. I'm in the middle of the 11th book, so don't really count that, but 10 books to finish before this year ends. Next, we're gonna do our November TBR. I am so excited for November. Thanksgiving, a lot of stuff is happening, a lot of good stuff is happening, and I'm so excited. So let's see what books we're reading. These are all the books that I'm planning to read for the month of November. I threw one thriller in here because I cannot read thriller books. My heart be pumping, and it's too much for me. I don't even like scary movies, and I'm reading these scary ass books. Yeah, I'm okay. First things first, I've been trying to finish a series for so long, but it's Scarred by Emily McIntyre. I read Hooked, loved it. Read Wretched, loved it. I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. But I love this entire series, and I've been trying to finish it. I've started this book maybe 3 or 4 times and only got 10% in, and then just did not get into it. So I'm forcing myself to finish this. I've only DNF'd 1 book in my entire journey of books. It was so bad, and it was just what? I love Katie. I want to read Neon Gods. I want to read this entire series, and for some reason I've had this book, the first book that I ever bought when I started this journey before this became this, about the fine print, I bought Neon Gods, and I have been reading for almost a year and a half now, and I still haven't read her. And she has other books that are out in the series, and I need to read it. So since I have it, I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to get the other ones if I like it. So I want to see what this one is. It seems like everyone loves it, and it's a good book. Mixed reviews, but can't wait to read her. Alec Hazelwood has another book coming out November 7th, and I wanted to at least read one of her books before it came out. And I don't know if that other one's a part of a series or not, but The Love Hypothesis, Love on the Brain, Love Theoretically, I think they're all kind of they're interconnected standalones, I believe. I think. I'm excited. And I know this was about a PhD candidate and a professor. Enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, professor to lover, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know anything about this book, but it seems like a fun read. So I have a lot of her books. I have almost every single one of her books except for the new one that's coming out. We're reading How He Plays. I have all of her. I have Beach Read, Book Lover, People Moving on Vacation, Happy Place. I've been waiting to read this for so long. There's been so many mixed reviews about people loving it, people hating it because it's very sad, people loving it because it's very happy, and I am just not in the mood for a sad book. But we're gonna jump right in. I should probably read the other books first because I think this is a newer release. It's kind of like Summer I Turned Pretty coded. They go to this place every year, and I think this year is being sold, so they go for one last hurrah. The main characters were together for a long time and then broke up, and now they're trying to find happiness in life or whatever, and they get back together. I don't know. I'm skeptical about this, but we're gonna see. This book has been on my TikTok for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Everyone got special editions of it. Everyone wants a special edition of it. I want the special edition of it. I'm still gonna get the special edition of it, and I'm still gonna get the Barnes & Noble edition, I think. Or UK version. But Divine Rivals. This is my first book of the month too. I have been seeing book of the month everywhere for months and months and months and months and months, and I was like, I don't need it. I don't need another way to buy books. But it was $5 a month, so I gave up and I gave in and I bought it. But we have Divine Rivals. This book is about 2 people who work in newspaper, I think. And she thinks she's writing to her brother, but she's not writing to her brother. She's writing to somebody else, and they're going back and forth. It's a young adult romance, I think. I honestly don't know much about it because I've been trying not to know much about it, but we're we're gonna see. I'm trying to go into this book blind. If you guys know how earlier I said at least putting one filler into my TBR until I can get rid of all the other books in my TBR, but the Black Queen. Black Queen was part of my October TBR, and guess what, guys? We didn't read her. I was literally so close. I read like the first chapter, and then I needed romance because I couldn't deal with another thriller because my heart was hurting from the last one. And I was like, you know what? Let's take a break. And then I just never picked her back up. So Black Queen, we're gonna officially read. Probably be my first book I read in November because I just need to get out of the way. And I feel like I already know what's going on. I feel like this is like, this is a thriller, but I feel like the person that killed her might be her lover. She was popular. And she was the first black woman to win homecoming queen in her small town. But her small town is used to one family always winning the crown. So she ends up dead in a cemetery plot. And her best friend is trying to figure out who killed her. I'm so excited to read this. And it sounded good then. And it sounded good now. It sounds good now. First chapter was good. So we're gonna see. I am a romance girly at heart, but I have recently been getting into a kick of YA. And I kind of like it. I like having a book without that much spice, or like with little romance but not a lot of spice. And these books have been pretty good. But next we have the Inheritance Games. I actually got this off of a place called Book Off. And it's by my job. And it was only $9, $10 basically. And they do a whole bunch of books for cheap. But the Inheritance Games, this is a 3 or 4 part series, and I know I need to read the other ones, but I want to start off light, just get one book, and if I like it then I don't, and I do not read the other ones. If I don't, then I don't. I think this is about grandchildren who are trying to figure out how to get their inheritance back. A lot of people say this reminds them of like Knives Out. Like, have you seen that movie? That's kind of what this reminds them of. And I'm all for it because I really like that movie. I like the first one better than the second one, but I still like the second one too. I kind of want to rewatch them once I read this book to kind of see if it still is similar after I read the book. But this one is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I'm excited to read her. Last but not least, we have From Blood and Ash. I don't know anything about this book. I don't know anything about this author. I did see a lot of people love the next book in the series, and I was like, you know what? I have this book, and I totally forgot about it, and I forgot it was on my shelf. So we're gonna read it. I hope, and I think this is a fantasy book. I have not read any I don't think I've read that many fantasy books, and if I have, it's been like unknowingly fantasy books. I have one book of the ACOTAR series. I have A Cord, Rose, and Thorns. I haven't read it. I need to get into that. A lot of people like that series, but I feel like it's so big now. It's so long that I don't know if I can get into it now. But we might only do one fantasy a month too, because fantasy, I don't think, I want romantasy. Like, if this is romantasy, then I would love it. This is a hefty book too, but if it's romantasy, I think I will love it, and I think I'm gonna be excited to read this book. If you have any recommendations of like first time romantasy books that you think I should read, please leave them down below, because your girl's trying. She's trying. And of course I'm gonna be reading all like the new releases and throughout the month. Like, Unsteady's coming out on the 1st. On the 7th is, I believe, Check and Mate and Love Redesign. I'm excited for all those releases. I'm excited to read all of the authors I haven't heard of. If you have any that are coming out you think I should read, even if it's books before the new release comes out, even next year, just please comment down below. I'm so excited. I am planning to post every day on TikTok. I am planning to post every week on my Instagram, because I usually take like 3 or 4 months to post, and only then it's only one post a month. Like, it's not like steady posts. So November, I'm gonna be posting every week on Instagram, posting every week on YouTube. I'm so excited. November is gonna be the month for me. I'm claiming it. I'm manifesting it. Wish me luck. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to get new videos every week. Turn on those post notifications so you can see when I post. I'll see you guys next week, and love you. Bye. Argument back up to my place. Sex from argue, I'm not violent on you, day one.